Hello people, I'm Jaby KOAY. This is my guest Meryl Goldsmith, and my other guest over Skype in New York, Cathy Pedrayes.
Hey there.
What caught my attention about you was on FOMO, you said that you were a big Bollywood fan.
I do like Bollywood. More specifically, I'm a Hrithik Roshan fan.
Okay. All right, well.
Me and every other girl in the world.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say.
All together.
So let's talk about Dhanak. It feels very Indian film. Just for clarification for my audience, indie means independent. Let's just read the IMDb elevator pitch real quick. Believing actor and goodwill ambassador Shah Rukh Khan can help her brother get an operation to restore his sight. A 10-year-old girl takes her blind 8-year-old brother on a trek across Rajasthan in search of the superstar. You go first. How did you feel about the film, like when it was over, without giving away any spoilers?
I agree. It's the cutest movie ever. The director did a really good job with this one. The kids were perfectly casted, and I like the kids' obsession with Bollywood, which I guess we'll leave it at there.
Yeah.
The one thing that I thought was really funny is that in their whole journey, if it was an American movie, things would have turned out a little differently, right? Like, they would have been, I don't know, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it would have been a lot more violent.
Okay.
Like, if it was an American movie, I feel like a lot of bad things would have happened. Like the movie Running Scared. Similar to that.
Okay, I didn't see Running Scared.
Oh, it's bad.
We'll get into spoilers in a second, though. I just want to give people like a taste for whether or not they should see the film. How about you?
I thought it was really cute. I found it really easy to relate to the big sister, being a big sister myself and willing to, do whatever it takes for your younger siblings. So I really liked seeing that journey, and their bond was so strong that I don't think you see that a lot. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was really adorable, and I think that kept me hanging on more than I think the story did, which was cute, but right. I think I like them more. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the idea of a film where you see two young people who are huge fans of Bollywood and how obsessed they are with it and going on this journey. Their relationship felt very real. Yeah. Beyond it just being cute, it felt genuine, like I believed these things were happening. That little kid who plays a blind boy is really, really, really good.
He's really,
convincing. I enjoyed it because it was like a little adventure. This journey that seems ridiculous to any grown-up. Like, no, you don't do that. But these kids, they have an imagination. They're like, anything is possible, and they go on this journey. They just go for it, and they lead with their heart.
Yeah.
It kind of educates you as an adult. Like, yeah, that's possible. Even though it's fiction, it is possible to kind of lead your life a little bit with your heart and just see where your imagination takes you.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that.
And their obsession with Bollywood was more than just being obsessed with pop culture, right? It had a really significant tie to the main character, Choltu.
Right. For you guys who just want to know whether it's worth seeing or not, the 3 people conclusively have validated that you should see it, so check it out. Now let's go a little bit more into the spoilers. So like you were saying, if this was an American-based film, it would be more violent or more shit would have gone down in a very negative way.
Yeah, like they would have been kidnapped, they would have not had food, they would have been sleeping on streets, in the rain, in the cold, cuts, scrapes, like everything would have happened. Cher probably would have had to sell her hair for like money. I don't know. Like everything bad would have happened to them.
See, I feel like we used to have movies like that in America and we've kind of just fallen away from it. Like, E.T. is a great example, I think. Okay. Like, E.T. is a kid's film. Or Super 8 is a film that kind of tried to go there, but that got crazy and... You didn't like Super 8?
I don't know that film.
The J.J. Abrams movie? J.J. Abrams did
I know J.J. Abrams, but right. I didn't see that one.
Oh, did you see Super 8?
I didn't see it, but I know.
It's basically an homage to Steven Spielberg's films from the 80s and whatnot. So like E.T., like The Goonies is another example of a kid's movie where it's like these kids just on this kind of adventure. Or The Sandlot, where it's just a kid's film and they're doing their thing.
What about Home Alone? How many bad things happened to that kid?
Right.
Yeah.
Because he was alone.
Right. Well, that's true. In the name of comedy, I suppose.
And there would just be like, I feel like authorities would have been involved at some point. Like these kids like wandering around India for like weeks and like I feel like if that happened here, authorities would be all over it.
The one time I was scared for them was when they ran into the American. I was like, oh no, what's going to happen?
That is so funny.
And then it realized the American was genuine, but I thought he was a little disgenuine at first. I didn't believe his character at first. And then at the end, when nothing happened, I was like, oh, I guess that was just his character.
It's funny you should bring him up because I thought he was a little too on the nose American.
Yeah, I
was
thought
like,
it was
wow, that is
exaggerated.
super stereo. But I mean, the thing is, to be fair, if we have an Indian person over here, we're gonna make them the 7-Eleven person, the taxi driver, or the doctor. Like, they're not just gonna be people. We're gonna stereotype them. Not you and me, but films will. And so they stereotype the white actor with the hippie t-shirt, the crazy hair. I'm like, is that what we look like to them? The thing is, there was a moment where they did get kidnapped in the movie.
But then you have like the most beautiful actress ever totally distract from that and save their lives like an angelic gypsy thing.
Right.
Oh my God.
It's kind of
she distracted me from the movie. Yeah. She was way too pretty.
That right there speaks to how the film is magical, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just like the whole, how it all kind of comes together. It comes together in a way that you want it to. It's a very heartwarming piece.
Yeah.
But I was glad they put in the part where they get kidnapped. Because the whole time I'm wondering, like, how are these kids not getting kidnapped? Like, I'm asking myself the question, the film addresses your concern. It's like, okay, here they get kidnapped, but you don't really want that to happen, so now they're rescued again. Okay?
Right.
So it's like, shut the fuck up about the kidnapping, audience. It happened, now we're moving on. That's what it felt like.
I
kind of felt like it was going from like one to the next a little bit too blatantly, I guess.
What do you mean?
One they would run into one traveler and then they'd go to the next town and there was like the next random guy and that was their new friend and then the woman and then the next guy. It was just like too like I don't know, step by step with the running and I don't know, a little formulaic with the characters, but so I like that they kind of at least tried to mix it up with what each character they ran into brought to their journey.
I didn't get that sense from it. I'm a pretty critical guy when it comes to movies. The one thing that I hold against the film is that some scenes just went on a little longer than I would have liked. But in general, I would watch the film again. Like, I enjoyed it enough that I would watch it again. And I don't say that about a lot of movies. Because it's like a nice adventure. Like, that's the kind of movie I would want to show to my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's just not a lot of films for kids anymore that are just nice and pleasant to watch with just a little bit of danger, but then we get back to it being nice again. You know, like Shah Rukh Khan showing up at the end, it was just very magical, you know? And actually,
dreams do come true. And
right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, for me, we were just talking before this call about, I hate referencing this movie because it seems to come up in every conversation about adventurous characters, but Into the Wild, did you see that?
Yes, is that the little bear characters? They're not bears. What are they?
No. This is a Sean Penn movie.
The ones with the...
It's a Sean Penn movie about a kid who abandons the traditional lifestyle, goes out on his own, and ends up dying from eating berries. But that's the nutshell of the movie. Now, I personally didn't enjoy the film because I felt like the scenes didn't really... There was no flow to it at all. It was just like you could have thrown all those scenes into a bucket and shook it up, dumped it out. It would have been the same movie, right? Whereas this film felt like it had a clear trajectory, and I appreciated that. The other one we were talking about just a second ago was Kumiko the Treasure Hunter. You definitely haven't heard of that, right?
I didn't see it, so...
It's an independent film by, I think it's American filmmakers who were very inspired by Japanese cinema. And it's this Japanese woman sees the movie Fargo and thinks that the movie's talking to her. So she goes to the States to find that treasure that Steve Buscemi left behind. But, go ahead.
Just a weird story.
Oh, no, I was going to say, it just reminded me of, like these kids going through the Odyssey. I just thought it was, like, classic, like, Greek literature, but, like, in India.
Right. Well, the reason I'm bringing up Kumiko the Treasure Hunter is because... what was missing in that movie, for those few of you who have seen it, is the character didn't really touch the lives of anybody along the way, whereas these kids seem to have touched the lives of everyone they came across, directly or indirectly. They meant something to each person, including the hippy-dippy American dude. Like, they touched the lives of everybody. I thought that was cool. That's...
even the crazy guy who didn't...
yeah!
Who was driving the
driving the steering wheel.
Oh, I loved his character.
I loved his character, too.
Oh. So endearing.
A lot of empathy for him, for sure, yeah.
I kind of liked the like secretive end where you're like, was it really him or was it just another wealthy person that came in? I mean, the assumption is that it was.
I like that too. The kind of openness of that, like, is it a dream or is it, was it reality?
Yeah.
I guess I can appreciate that. I just wanted to see SRK show up in the movie.
I did too because I wanted the girl to meet him.
Yeah.
And have it really come full circle.
Right.
But
the way they handled it was cool. I mean, there is something to that mystery that I can appreciate, I guess. I'm in both camps on that one.
Yeah.
I really would have liked to have seen it, but I'm like, the way they handled it was cool, though. So
it kept the mystery and the kind of magic going, which was a theme throughout. So
that's true.
Yeah. He may have stolen the spotlight a little bit. A little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, SRK?
Yeah.
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 What do you mean by that?
Well,
his character.
Because he's like number 2 hottest guy ever, and so you can't just put him in a really cute movie. It like distracts from the whole.
Well, that's true.
He's too much of a heartthrob.
Yeah.
Then it's now it's like, oh, I was just thinking of kids and him, like take off your shirt or something. It wouldn't be appropriate.
Be careful.
Like, let's keep this PG. We don't want to bring him in here.
Be careful.
It's gonna get too hot.
Careful how you classify who's the hottest. I know it's subjective. It's her opinion. It's subjective.
It is. Well, I guess SRK is more of like a heartthrob, and like Hrithik Roshan's like saved my life and like whisked me away to the clouds somewhere.
I like the rivalry that they introduced between the kids, like one liking SRK and one liking Salman Khan a lot, because that very much speaks to real life, because there is that little "which camp are you in" conversation. I get hit with it all the time on YouTube comments, like, who do you like more, SRK or Salman Khan? And I'm like, to answer that is is suicide on the internet, so no thank you. I like everybody. Was there anything you didn't like about this movie? Because you didn't say, I haven't heard you speak anything negative.
I guess it started off a little slow for me. I was a little confused as, you know why? Because I was waiting for something bad to happen. I was just like, okay, they got through it, but when is the bad thing going to happen? But then I fell into it. It was good. It was really cute. And I love the gypsy town. That was my favorite scene, was the gypsy town with not the Holy Mother. Oh yeah, I wasn't that into the Holy Mother. It seemed kind of like off. I don't know. I felt like there was an element of
artificiality.
Yeah, like because she said she was an actress and then became a Holy Mother, and I was like, is that how it happens? Like, pretty sure you're just holy because you're holy. So I wasn't that into that scene, but I really liked the gypsy town with the grandmother and that I love. And the costumes. That was the scene that had like all the best costumes, and I was dying. I
assume you watch a lot of movies all the time, and you're a producer. How did you feel about SRK rescuing them in the desert? They got through most of the journey on their own, but that was the classic hero loses it all moment.
Yes, exactly.
And from there, they're supposed to pick themselves back up to finish out their adventure, but SRK finished it for them.
Right.
How did you guys feel about that?
I think that's okay because they're kids and their journey is different from a typical hero journey.
Okay.
And so at the end, the rescuing, like the whole point of the mission was for him to rescue them in terms of the eyesight.
That's true.
So him rescuing them in this way and then ending up donating the money for the vision surgery, I thought it worked well.
Okay. How about you?
I see where you're coming from. Like, now that it was a little disappointing at first, just because they never made that connection.
Right.
But, and I was also like, really, like, why was he just randomly in a place in the desert? Like, they were wandering. They didn't know, there was no
But that was how
markers.
the whole movie was. It was like one person's coming and then this person finds them and then they run into this person.
That is
so
true.
It just felt the next one is going to be the celebrity.
It is very mythological in that way.
Yeah, but I was able to believe it for the rest of the movie because at least they were on roads, which means people travel on these roads. There's homes, there's like, I don't know, food and stuff like that. So you know that civilization is there.
Right.
But in a desert, I don't know.
I think I'd already suspended my belief so much and my logic, just to go with the story. So I went with the ending, I guess.
I thought that it was the dad who picked them up. That would have made the uncle.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would have made a lot more sense for me, and then SRK just kind of tracked them to the hospital.
That's true, because we see the dad in the scene right before they go into the desert. Like, sorry, not the dad, the uncle, but the adopted kind of dad, right?
Yeah.
We see him right
father
before they
figure.
go into that scene, right? And it looks like he's walking in the direction that they were walking in, so the assumption would be that it was him.
Right. That would have been better for me if it was him and then SRK just met them at the hospital. But they really wanted that kind of
Mythic
hero,
scene.
mythic kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I went with it. Because you're right, it does feel kind of like, the only reason I'm remotely aware of that stuff is because of George Lucas, because I saw THX 1138.
I didn't.
And I saw and his commentary talked about the kind of weird tropes that you'll experience, almost kind of Joseph Campbell type stuff.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, from that perspective of like Greek mythology and whatnot, it does make sense. But just from a movie standpoint, it did kind of pose as problematic for me. Just so I'm of two minds about it.
Yeah, and the relationship with their aunt and uncle was so turbulent to begin with that having like a positive spin on it would have been nice, because it's like, oh, auntie and uncle told us not to take this journey. We took it anyways and got an amazing result, and auntie and uncle were wrong. And like it would have been nice to be like, oh, auntie and uncle cared so much that they found us, or something like that. Like the aunt, I don't think really ever came into like a good light.
Right, she got kind of shafted.
Yeah. Which I felt bad. I mean, I would have liked to see maybe there was a scene where she seemed to have like a little remorse or something when the uncle was leaving, but I would have liked maybe to see that in the kids, right? Because they should like respect their elders and stuff like that. And so I would have liked to see, which they did. I mean, Chotu was a little feisty, but but I would have liked to see a scene where maybe they were all like happy together as a family. It seemed like the aunt was like totally irrelevant, and then it was like uncle and kid.
Right. Going back to, this is the last thing I just want to comment on. Going back to what you were saying earlier about the opening being kind of slow, do you think it would have completely changed the tone of the movie if it opened up with a more interesting first act, like the boy realizing he lost his eyesight or something like that, or something pertaining to that? Because they leave it largely a mystery as to how he lost his eyesight, and it's like, you could have had a scary
Well, they said
first
it was because starvation at some point.
Right, but I'm saying you could have opened with that scene.
Yeah, that would have been a stronger inciting incident in terms of like launching us to the journey in second act.
Right.
I would say.
Like you start there and then go 4 years later.
Yes.
Boom.
Definitely.
Something like that. Like I said in the beginning of the video, overall I really enjoyed this film, and I hope to see more films like this in the future. And I'm happy that it exists, because it is definitely a film I would show to my kids someday. Just as like something soft, because everything is getting more dark and edgy and serious. It's like, where is all the innocent fun that we used to have when we were kids? You know what I'm saying? I don't know how old you are, but like when I was a kid, there were movies you could watch that were okay. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Please check out Dhanak. I'm not saying that correctly. It means rainbow. Is that what it means?
Super cute. Just saw that. Yeah.
Oh, now it really comes full circle.
Right,
I didn't
yeah.
look up what it meant. I just took it for what it was.
Okay. So you guys, please check out Dhanak if you haven't already, even though if you're watching this much and it's been spoiled, it's still worth watching, because this conversation cannot replace the adventure you'll experience watching the film. Check out Meryl Goldsmith on the social media, as well as Cathy, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out other reactions, reviews, short films, and video game related videos. The short films playlist in the description below. I swear to God, English is my first language. And the short films playlist in the description below. You can check out Jaby KOAY short films. So that's it for now, you guys. Thank you again. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is
Meryl Goldsmith.
And
Cathy.
peace out. I was gonna ask you, are you Italian? What are you?